10 exercises every man over 40 needs to know and adapt. Let's face it, hitting your 40s doesn't mean your best days are behind you. It just means you need to train smarter, not harder. But hey, don't panic. I'm not here to tell you to trade your dumbbells for knitting needles. Instead, I'm here to expose the truth about those go-to exercises you've been doing since your 20s. Spoiler alert, some of them might actually be wrecking your body. In this video, we're diving into the 10 exercises every man over 40 should know and tweak to stay in the game. Think you've got it all figured out? Wait until you hear about number 4. It might just change the way you train forever. Oh, and if you're the type who skips leg day, let me tell you, the universe is laughing at you. Stick around, because the secret to training smarter, staying injury-free, and still looking like you could arm wrestle your younger self is just getting started. Don't blink. You won't want to miss this. Number 4 brings one of the best benefits when done correctly. Number 10, deadlift. The deadlift is the gold standard for building strength across your entire posterior chain. If you're ignoring this exercise, you're essentially telling your body, I don't care about being strong or functional. From your lower back to your glutes and hamstrings, every part of your body works together in this movement. And if you're doing it right, even your core will thank you for the extra stability. Here's the catch. Most people perform deadlifts with the grace of a drunk trying to pick up car keys. The form is non-negotiable. You don't just bend down, yank a barbell, and hope for the best. The key is starting with lighter loads. Yes, even if your ego screams to stack the plates. A proper deadlift starts with a neutral spine, shoulders pulled back, and your feet rooted firmly on the ground. Picture yourself trying to push the floor away with your heels. If your lower back is doing all the work, you're not deadlifting. You're gambling with your spinal health. Deadlifts don't just build muscles, they build real-world strength. Think about it. How often do you bend over to pick something up? Whether it's lifting groceries or helping your friend move that obnoxiously heavy couch, the mechanics are the same. Mastering the deadlift means fewer pulled backs and more confidence in your daily life. And let's not overlook aesthetics. A strong back and glutes aren't just functional, they make you look powerful and athletic. Who doesn't want that? Plus, this exercise activates so many muscles that it torches calories like no other. It's efficient, effective, and downright essential. Now, if you're over 40, you need to approach deadlifts with some caution. Your joints and muscles might not bounce back as quickly from poor technique or overloading the bar. That doesn't mean skipping the exercise altogether. It means being smart. Try variations like the Romanian deadlift or the trap bar deadlift if the traditional barbell feels too harsh. These options are gentler on your lower back and allow for better control. Here's the real kicker. Skipping deadlifts because they're too hard is a weak excuse. If you want to build strength, avoid injuries, and stay functional for life, this exercise is non-negotiable. Stop fearing it and start mastering it. Number 9, dumbbell bench press. Let me guess, you're still clinging to the barbell bench press like it's the only way to train your chest. Newsflash, the dumbbell bench press is where the real magic happens. Why? Because it gives you a greater range of motion and forces your stabilizing muscles to work harder. You're not locked into a fixed path like with a barbell, so each side of your body has to pull its own weight, literally. This exercise targets your chest, shoulders, and triceps while recruiting stabilizers to keep the weight steady. If you've ever felt your shoulders nagging after a traditional bench press, the dumbbell variation could save you from a world of discomfort. With dumbbells, you can adjust your hand position and path, which means you're less likely to put unnecessary strain on your joints. But let's talk about the elephant in the room: ego. You might not lift as much weight with dumbbells as you would with a barbell, and that's okay. Nobody cares how much you're pressing unless you're in a competition. What matters is how well you're engaging your muscles and avoiding injuries. For those who love practical tips, here's how to get it right. Start with a weight that allows you to perform the movement with control. Lower the dumbbells slowly until they're about level with your chest, and then press them back up without banging them together at the top. This isn't a demolition derby, it's a precision movement. If you're looking for a way to add variety, you can tweak the angle of the bench. A slight incline will target your upper chest more, while a decline focuses on the lower chest. And if you really want to feel the burn, try pausing at the bottom of the movement for a second or two before pressing up. Here's a tip for the over 40 crowd. Focus on quality over quantity. Lifting lighter with perfect form beats struggling under heavy weights with poor mechanics. Your shoulders will thank you for it, and you'll get stronger without risking unnecessary setbacks. The dumbbell bench press isn't just an alternative, it's an upgrade. If you're not including it in your routine, you're missing out on better muscle engagement and a safer way to push your limits. You're enjoying the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button. Number 8. Close grip push-ups, diamond push-ups. Diamond push-ups, loved by fitness enthusiasts and loathed by anyone with creaky wrists. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't your average push-up. Bringing your hands together to form a diamond shape forces your triceps, chest, and even your core to work overtime. But there's a downside. If your wrists are already complaining, this exercise can feel like torture. Why are they so effective? It's all about isolation. With your hands closer together, the emphasis shifts away from your chest and onto your triceps. It's like giving those back-of-the-arm muscles a wake-up call they didn't ask for. And don't be fooled into thinking this is just an arm exercise. Your core has to work hard to keep your body stable, especially when you start feeling the burn halfway through your set. Here's where things get tricky. The diamond position puts a lot of stress on your wrists. If you're someone who winces at the thought of bending your hands that way, it's time to consider alternatives. Traditional push-ups, push-ups on your knuckles, or even using push-up bars can help reduce the strain while still giving you a solid tricep workout. For those who love a challenge, try slowing down the movement. Lower yourself as slowly as possible, pause at the bottom, and then push up explosively. This will not only increase muscle engagement, but also build strength and control. But let's not sugarcoat it. Diamond push-ups aren't for everyone. If you're over 40 or already dealing with joint discomfort, forcing yourself through this exercise might do more harm than good. Focus on form and listen to your body. There's no shame in modifying or swapping it out for something that works better for you. And here's the controversial take. The obsession with making push-ups harder sometimes misses the point. Diamond push-ups are great, but if you're not ready for them, they can backfire. Start with regular push-ups, master your form, and then ease into these when your body is truly prepared. Remember, progression is key, not punishment. Number 7, traditional crunches. Ah, the classic crunch. The exercise that's been marketed as the golden ticket to six-pack abs for decades. Let's get something out of the way. Crunches aren't the be-all end-all of core training. In fact, if this is the only thing you're doing for your abs, you're leaving a lot of potential gains on the table. Traditional crunches target the superficial abdominal muscles, which means they'll give you that burn everyone talks about. But here's the kicker. They're not doing much for the deeper muscles that actually stabilize your spine and protect your back. Relying solely on crunches is like putting a fresh coat of paint on a house with a crumbling foundation. It looks good on the surface, but the structure is still weak. For those who insist on doing crunches, form is everything. Keep your lower back pressed into the ground, avoid yanking your neck, and focus on controlled movements. Rushing through them not only reduces their effectiveness, but also puts unnecessary strain on your neck and spine. Let's talk about what you're probably ignoring. Planks. Unlike crunches, planks engage your entire core, including those deep stabilizers that are essential for long-term spinal health. If you're over 40, adding planks to your routine could be the smartest decision you make for your back. And here's a reality check. Crunches alone won't give you visible abs unless your body fat percentage is low enough. That's not me being harsh. It's just basic physiology. Core exercises are important, but they're only one piece of the puzzle. A balanced diet and full body workouts are what really bring those abs to the surface. So, where do crunches fit into the picture? They're a decent addition to your routine, but they shouldn't be the main event. Think of them as a supporting actor, not the star of the show. Mix them with planks, side planks, and other dynamic core exercises to build strength, stability, and yes, even aesthetics. If you're stuck in the crunches-only mindset, it's time to expand your horizons. Your core deserves better, and so does your spine. Number 6. Upright row with a barbell. The upright row is one of those exercises that looks innocent enough until you realize it's flirting dangerously close to being a shoulder injury waiting to happen. Sure, it targets your shoulders and traps like a laser beam, but the movement's mechanics can put your shoulder joints in a precarious position, especially if you're not paying attention to form or you're using a barbell that's too heavy. When done correctly, the upright row is an effective way to build strength and size in your deltoids and traps. The key is maintaining control and not letting your ego dictate the weight. Start by gripping the bar slightly narrower than shoulder width and pulling it up to about chest height. Don't yank it to your chin like you're auditioning for a bad workout tutorial. Keep your elbows higher than your wrists, but not so high that your shoulders start screaming at you in Morse code. But let's address the elephant in the room. This exercise doesn't play well with everyone's anatomy. For some people, the upright row feels about as comfortable as a dentist's drill, thanks to the internal shoulder rotation required. If you're over 40 or just someone with cranky joints, it's worth considering alternatives. Lateral raises, shrugs, or even face pulls can give you similar benefits without the potential for shoulder irritation. For those brave enough to stick with upright rows, keep the range of motion limited. You don't need to pull the bar all the way to your neck. Stop at the chest or just above. This reduces the strain on your rotator cuff while still targeting your traps and delts. And here's the polarizing truth. The upright row has its place, but it's not the holy grail of shoulder exercises. If it feels awkward or painful, there's no shame in ditching it for something safer. You can build impressive shoulders without sacrificing your joints on the altar of tradition. Number 5. Leg press machine. The leg press machine is a fan favorite, and for good reason. It lets you load up heavy weights without having to worry about balancing a barbell on your back. Sounds perfect, right? Well, not so fast. This exercise can be both a blessing and a curse, depending on how you use it. Let's start with the benefits. The leg press is fantastic for building strength in your quads, glutes, and hamstrings. It allows you to isolate your lower body muscles and push yourself in a controlled environment. Unlike squats, which demand impeccable balance and technique, the leg press keeps you supported so you can focus solely on moving weight. But here's where things go wrong. People load the machine like it's their personal vendetta against physics, then let their knees cave in or lock out at the top. This isn't a powerlifting meet, and your joints aren't indestructible. To use the leg press safely, start by adjusting the seat so your knees are at about a 90-degree angle when you're at the bottom of the movement. Press through your heels, not your toes, and avoid letting your knees collapse inward. They should track in line with your feet. For those over 40, moderation is key. Heavy weights are tempting, but your knees and lower back won't appreciate the wear and tear if you overdo it. Stick to moderate loads and higher reps to build strength without courting injury. One more thing, don't shortchange your range of motion. Half-repping the leg press is a one-way ticket to mediocre results. Lower the platform until your thighs are about parallel to the seat. No need to turn this into a contortionist act, but don't cheat yourself either. Here's the spicy take. The leg press is a solid addition to your routine, but it's not a replacement for squats. If you're skipping squats entirely because they're too hard, you're missing out on the functional benefits they bring. The leg press is great for strength, but it won't teach your body the balance and coordination that squats demand. Use it as a supplement, not a substitute. Number 4. Behind the head military press. Let's talk about the behind the head military press, the controversial cousin of the standard overhead press. Sure, it looks impressive, and yes, it targets your shoulders and traps with precision. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room. This exercise requires mobility that most people simply don't have, especially if you're over 40 or haven't stretched since the Clinton administration. The idea is simple. Press a barbell behind your head to work your deltoids and traps. The reality? It's a recipe for disaster if your shoulders aren't up to the task. This movement places your shoulder joints in a position of extreme external rotation, which can strain your rotator cuffs, especially if you're loading up heavy weights like it's a competition. Here's how to do it right, if you're insistent on trying. Use lighter weights than you think you need. Sit upright with your core engaged, and lower the bar no farther than the top of your ears. Going any deeper is asking for trouble, unless you're one of the few with perfect shoulder mobility. And let's be honest, most people aren't. Here's the kicker. You don't actually need to press the bar behind your head to get the benefits of a shoulder press. Front-facing variations, like the standard military press or using dumbbells, are much kinder to your joints and equally effective. Using dumbbells in particular allows for a more natural range of motion, which reduces stress on your shoulders. So why does the behind-the-head press persist? Ego, plain and simple. It's the look at me exercise, and people fall for it thinking it's somehow superior. Spoiler, it's not. If you value longevity in your training and don't want to spend your 50s Googling rotator cuff surgery recovery, skip this variation or at least approach it cautiously. Here's the hard truth. Just because you can do an exercise doesn't mean you should. Your shoulders will thank you for choosing smarter, safer alternatives. Number 3. Front raises. Front raises are a favorite for isolating the anterior deltoids. That's the front of your shoulders, for those of you skipping anatomy class. But here's the plot twist. Most people don't actually need to spend much time isolating their front delts. Why? Because they already get plenty of work from pressing movements like bench presses, overhead presses, and even push-ups. That's right. If your workout is already packed with pressing exercises, your front delts are probably doing just fine. Adding a ton of front raises on top of that can create muscular imbalances, leaving your rear delts and other stabilizers lagging behind. And guess what happens when those muscles are neglected? Shoulder pain, poor posture, and eventually, a ticket to the physical therapist's office. If you're dead set on doing front raises, here's how to do them without wrecking yourself. Grab a pair of light dumbbells. No, seriously, light. This isn't the exercise to show off your strength. Stand tall, keep your core braced, and raise the weights to shoulder height with controlled movements. Don't swing them up like you're trying to swat a fly. This is a shoulder exercise, not a physics experiment. For those over 40, consider swapping traditional front raises for cable front raises or even resistance bands. These options provide constant tension throughout the movement, which is easier on your joints and just as effective at targeting the anterior deltoids. Here's the spicy take. You'd be better off focusing on exercises that build balanced shoulder strength, like lateral raises or reverse flies. These target the often neglected rear delts and help create a well-rounded look while improving shoulder health. The truth? Front raises are overrated for most people. They're not inherently bad, but they're not the holy grail of shoulder exercises either. If you're not competing in bodybuilding, you can probably skip them altogether and never miss a beat. But hey, if you love the burn and want to keep them in your routine, go for it. Just don't expect them to fix every shoulder problem under the sun. Number 2. Barbell bench press. The barbell bench press. The undisputed king of chest exercises and the ultimate gym bro measuring stick. How much do you bench is practically a rite of passage in fitness culture. But let's cut through the hype. While it's an excellent movement for building strength in your chest, shoulders, and triceps, it's also one of the most misunderstood exercises in the gym. The bench press is effective because it allows you to lift heavier weights than most chest exercises. That's the good news. The bad news? It also comes with a higher risk of injury if your form isn't perfect. Let's talk about common mistakes. Flaring your elbows out wide like you're trying to take flight, bouncing the bar off your chest like it owes you money, and lifting your feet off the floor as if that's going to help you. None of these are doing you any favors. Here's how to bench like a pro. Grip the bar slightly wider than shoulder width, lower it in a controlled manner to your mid-chest, and press it back up while keeping your shoulders pinned to the bench. Engage your lats for stability and keep your feet firmly planted on the ground to create a solid base. Think of it as a full-body movement, not just a chest exercise. If you're over 40, you need to pay extra attention to your shoulders. The barbell bench press can be unforgiving on aging joints, especially if you've been neglecting mobility work or loading up weights like you're competing in the Olympics. To reduce stress on your shoulders, try switching to dumbbell bench presses or using a slight incline to shift the emphasis and reduce strain. Here's a controversial take. The barbell bench press isn't a must-do for everyone. Sure, it's iconic, but there are safer and equally effective alternatives like push-ups, dumbbell presses, or even machine presses that provide more control and less risk. Don't let gym dogma dictate your routine. At the end of the day, the bench press is a fantastic tool, but it's not the only tool. Use it wisely, focus on form, and leave your ego at the door. Number 1. Plyometric exercises. Plyometric exercises are the explosive cousin of strength training, combining power and agility into one dynamic package. Think box jumps, clap push-ups, and jump squats. They're designed to improve your ability to generate force quickly, making them perfect for athletes or anyone who wants to feel like an athlete. Here's the deal. Plyometrics are great for building speed, power, and even coordination, but they're not without risks. Explosive movements place a lot of stress on your joints, which is fine if you're in your 20s and built like a rubber band. If you're over 40 or dealing with joint pain, high-impact plyometrics can be a fast track to injury. But don't give up on plyos just yet. Low-impact variations can still deliver results without wrecking your knees. Step-up jumps, controlled box jumps, and dynamic lunges are great options that let you reap the benefits without the wear and tear. Focus on quality over quantity. This isn't about how many reps you can crank out before collapsing. Here's a pro tip. Land softly. If your landings sound like a herd of elephants, you're doing it wrong. Absorb the impact by bending your knees and engaging your glutes and core. Controlled landings are the secret to making plyometrics safe and effective. And let's talk practicality. Plyometrics aren't just for show. They improve your balance, reaction time, and overall athleticism, which can make a world of difference in real-life scenarios like running, jumping, or even catching yourself when you trip. Here's the twist. Most people overdo plyometrics, thinking more is always better. It's not. Your muscles and joints need time to recover from the explosive effort. Incorporate these exercises sparingly, maybe once or twice a week, into a well-rounded routine. If you're avoiding plyometrics because they seem too intense, think again. The right variations can be tailored to any fitness level. Don't let fear hold you back from unlocking the benefits of explosive training, but don't let overconfidence turn a great exercise into a liability either. Balance is everything. You liked the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.